Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. I have not finished setting up because I have like a voice in my ear and it's coming through really insistently. It's like it really has something to say. It's what I'm being told, and it'll make more sense kind of when I start to give you all the rest of the intuitive messages. It's this feeling, it's really eager. It feels like, and I don't want to deceive anyone, and I don't want to like prey on anyone's vulnerabilities or anything like that. I'm very, very aware that people do that, and I don't want to be that sort of person, but it feels like an energy that's coming forward very insistently, like it wants to talk. I'm just going to tell you what I'm getting, right? I'm just going to tell you how it feels and what I'm getting. You can make of it what you will. And this is kind of the point. This is exactly the point of what they're trying to make. It's got this feeling of oh, how do I explain it to you? Because it's trying to like gets the message before I've explained what it's about. So it's like going to somebody, like going to a priest or somebody that you place authority in. It could be a tarot card reader, right? Or something like this, a psychic, or a parent. It could be anyone, right? But it's like you are handing your authority over to them. Now, it's not going to be for everybody. It might just be for one person. But it's like the message that's coming through is this person saying, it's really important not to completely put all your faith and trust into anyone else, because that other person is going to have their own perspective. And this specific example they were giving me was, I can't remember the details of it, but it's a young girl, historically, where she had some kind of health problem, where, you know, she was a teenager for a start, so she was acting out, she was being rebellious, but on top of that she had some kind of health problem or mental thing going on where that she needed help with, right? She needed medical help, but her family went to a priest. It's on BuzzFeed, you know, BuzzFeed Unsolved or something like that. It's they covered it, but it's a real thing, right? It's a real thing that actually happened. It's quite a famous case. But her family got an exorcist in and a priest in to do an exorcism, and basically it was like torture. They were just making her worse. They were making her health problem worse. So it was a really, really sad case. But this is the example they're giving me of, it's like somebody's gone to somebody like, I don't know, a psychic, a priest, somebody like that, maybe somebody who's a little bit spiritual in some sort of way, and they're being told that someone else is evil. And it's like, or they've got evil in them, like Exorcist. Maybe someone's just watching The Exorcist. But I wouldn't say it's that far, right? It's probably because this is real life, and real life is not normally that extreme. But it's like getting advice from a friend, right? Being, you know, having a partner, having somebody that you're interested in, a friend coming over and saying, oh yeah, that person, they're no good. You know, that's much more of like a normal explanation of what I'm feeling. But it's like the person that you're getting advice from has their own perspective, is the message. And that's what they're trying to say to me. It's like, if you go to a priest, they're going to be looking at the situation through the lens of, you know, all their traditions, all their beliefs. If you go to someone who's from a different, you know, if you go to a doctor, they're going to look at it from a medical point of view. So it's like, don't put, I'm hearing all your eggs in one basket, but that's not what I was trying to say. Don't put all your faith into one authority, because what you do when you do that is you take, this is what they were getting really passionate about, this kind of voice in my ear, you take your own culpability away. It's like it's almost like passing the blame, right? Passing the buck to somebody else. It's like, I don't want to be accountable for this, I don't want to have anything to do with this, so I'm going to give my authority to them and they can make the decisions. And it's like turning your brain off, right? It's like no independent thought. You're basically becoming a sheep because you're not questioning the perspective of the person giving the advice. So don't put 100% faith into any one person's advice. Remember that it's coming through their own lens of experience and knowledge, right? So how many times in history has someone been proven wrong? You know, something that people take as absolute fact. You know, you get a new piece of scientific evidence and everything comes into question. So it's like the message is, and the really, really passionate message that's coming through is take responsibility. Take responsibility, right? Don't become a sheep that is to be that doesn't have any autonomy. Like, take your autonomy back, take your power back, your decision-making skills, and you know, accept responsibility for your actions is the message that's coming through. Because it's actually very, very dangerous if society as a whole were to put all their faith into a specific person. And I'm not calling out any particular religion or politician or anything like that here. I'm talking very, very generally, because it applies to everything, right? Everyone, nobody knows 100% of everything. Like, that is not physically possible as a human. People can be very knowledgeable, but there's flaws, there's gaps in their perception, right? Everybody experiences the world through their own lens. So everyone is fallible is the message. So don't, like, if society were to place 100% of their trust into one specific leader, for example, what if that leader's wrong? You know, and they make a decision and the whole of society gets blamed for the decision of that leader. But yes, the whole society is responsible because they didn't stand up, they didn't question, they didn't offer alternatives. So do you understand the message that is very, very, it's like it's really important for wherever this message is coming from. It feels like a guide, right? It feels like it could be one of your guides, but it feels like it's like they really, really had to say that. They really had to get that off the chest. It's like this person is reminding you to kind of make decisions for yourself or something like that, right? So I'm just getting the decks out. I'm actually using the Witch's Tarot and the Gilded Tarot. I don't think tarot has a specific religion. I see tarot readers who are, you know, very, very, you know, coming at it with very Christian values, talking about God and things like this. I see people coming at it from like a more Wicca type background. So really tarot is just a tool for anyone to use to connect to higher energies, I think. I don't think it's either good or bad. I don't think it's attached to any specific religion. You know, giving me a Shakespeare quote, nothing's either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Okay, so Leo, now that again, it feels like now I've got it out, that energy's kind of like moving to the background. So the messages that I'm getting for you, I've got a really itchy nose all of a sudden as well. Maybe somebody's got hay fever or something. I've got a story coming through in your songs. Now you can check out the songs in the description box below, but what I'm being given, and especially here, if you look at this strength card, the strength card can symbolize sometimes a very powerful friendship or companion who is like a backbone for you, right? You give each other this constant support. It's a very warm, very friendly relationship where you know, you calm the inner beast of each other is the way it comes through. Now the Sun card, these are both your cards in the tarot. The Sun card is a card about happiness. Now this is really fitting for what I've actually been channeling before I got your cards out, because I'm getting this message of I'm happy now. I'm happy now, as opposed to where you were before, right? And again, this could be you, it could be somebody connected to you, so take it as it resonates. But it's like almost like a Romeo and Juliet type story, and this theme has been coming up quite a lot this week. But it feels like in the past, somebody connected to you could have made a decision. I mean, it could be current, it's kind of coming through in two different ways. But it's like somebody made a decision to choose love over money, to choose love over what the family wanted, is the way it's coming through. It's been coming through, I want to say I talked about it in Aries' reading, maybe Gemini's reading a bit as well. It's, again, it's a reoccurring theme. It comes through in slightly different ways. We are in Libra season. Libra's ruled by Venus, so maybe a lot of lovey-dovey stuff coming out in the readings at the moment. But it's like somebody who perhaps came from maybe quite a well-to-do background, a little bit of money, and they went against the family gossip, the family advice, the family culture, to be with somebody that they truly loved, right? But they chose to live with the common people. You had Common People by Pulp. You know, they chose to to kind of rough it, I guess, you know, to go without those kind of luxuries that they had perhaps growing up, or as part of that family, or part of that job even. And then, but they weren't happy there. I want to say they weren't happy there because you have Blush by Wolf Alice, and it says, curse the things that made me sad for so long, right? I'm happy now. So it's like, I'm happy where I am, but still being connected to that family. You can't really, you know, like exercise yourself from a family, I guess. It's like you're still part of that DNA, you know, you're still part of that kind of energetic bond, even if you distance yourself from them. You know, spiritually, it's hard to completely disentangle your energies. Your energies are connected through time and space, so the past energies are still kind of there. Daddy's Rich. So again, Summertime, by, I'm going to embarrass myself now because I can't remember the name off the top of my head of the people who sang it. Daddy's rich and Mama's good looking. All right, Daddy's rich. So maybe some of you are getting into a relationship with somebody who is from a wealthy background, right? Daddy's rich. It makes me think of when Tana Mojo married Jake Paul. Daddy's rich, Daddy's rich. Yeah, the song Summertime that came through for you, my dad's a Leo, and Summertime was the song that we played at the funeral. So somebody could have passed away, there could be something like that. But again, it's like this history haunting you energy that I think came through in Aries' reading, almost like past life. Also the new version, right? Doing Time by Lana Del Rey, which is a cover of another version. But they say evil. We've come to tell you that she's evil, most definitely. Evil, honorary, scandalous, and evil. So again, this is coming in like those naysayers, like the people who want to give you advice and who are trying to turn you against someone. Now, energetically, the way it's coming through is whoever this person is, whoever this bond is, this is a really, really good relationship that makes you happy, right? And I think we find God through high vibrational happiness, right? Through love, through supportive bonds, through people who care for each other. That is where I think we find God. Again, a religious tone to your reading, just leave it to one side if it's not your thing. You've actually got a song called, I haven't written it down, so I'm just going to take a second to remember it. It's a Kesha song. A hymn for the hymnless, kids with no religion. So again, it could be that you've come from, or you or your partner have come from a religious family, but you're going against that. For some of you, just thinking of like of people I know, some of you it could be to do with who you love, right, and the type of relationship that you're in. You know, could be going against the values of, you know, the traditions of the family, the perspective of the family. But you know that that is, you know, you weren't happy in that past situation. That, you know, it wasn't where God was for you. It wasn't where you found that connection, where you're finding that. Again, when I say God, when I say God in my readings, I'm talking about high vibrational love energy. To me, God is unconditional love, and unconditional love means love that doesn't reject, love that doesn't condemn or criticize. It's a very, very pure, I see it as white and gold energy, which again, look at the colours on your cards, and it's all embracing. So I know that that doesn't necessarily align with certain belief systems. I think people cherry pick from religious texts. I think people have their own perspective, and then they cherry pick the parts from the scripture that support what they want to say or what they want to believe. Take that as it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. You know, and everybody's welcome here. Whatever your perspective is, that's absolutely fine. I'm not criticizing, I'm not trying to sway anyone. I'm just reading energy, right? And that energy, because I'm reading energy of the people coming to this reading, those people could come in with different backgrounds, right? Some people may be very, you know, very, very religious and really have very, very fixed beliefs. Some people may be a little bit more open or free-flowing. Some people may really reject certain things. So I'm going to pick up for the people that I'm reading for. So sometimes I'm going to pick up this energy, sometimes I'm going to pick up that energy, sometimes I'm going to throw in my own ideas. Everybody's welcome. I'm reading for everyone, right? So take it or leave it. Remember, I am not the authority here. I am not telling you what to do. You are watching this literally through a lens, right? This is literally picking up the reading right now through a lens. So this lens represents your own perspective. You're receiving this through your own belief system, through your own ideas, through your own brain and mental capabilities. You don't have to take what I'm saying right now as any kind of scripture. I am just reading energy. That's all I'm doing. So you don't need to get offended by it. You don't need to agree with it wholeheartedly. Just take it as it resonates. Whatever it makes you think about, that's what is intended to be brought up through this reading. It's giving you an opportunity to think about things. That's all. So I don't know why I always have to defend myself like this. I think I do sometimes get comments that are like, you're evil. And I'm like, no, baby. No, I'm not. But again, that's that thing. Evil, we've come to tell you that she's evil, most definitely. Evil, honorary, scandalous, and evil. Scandalous, right? So what is evil really? There's nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so. If something is scandalous, if something is going against the grain, it's seen as, oh, that is evil, because it's going against what the group think, right? So you know, this idea, especially if it challenges authority, especially if it challenges power. So the witch hunts have been coming up quite often in my readings, where, you know, they went around Europe killing witches, and like, it was like, well, how do we find out if you're a witch? I'll tell you what, we'll strap you to this chair and we'll drown you, and if you die, you're not a witch. It's like, what kind of justice is that, right? So I think looking back on it, we can see that there was some fear motivating those trials, right? There was some fear, there was some rejection of challenges to authority. There was definitely some tyrannical behavior, and I think when we look back on that now, we can say, oh yeah, maybe a few people got it a bit wrong there. Maybe we could have done that differently. So it's that kind of thing. But when everybody was really caught up in it, and again, this was mob mentality, which is incredibly dangerous. Everybody was so caught up with the fear and the anger, you know, wanting someone to blame, that they took part in this horrific human behavior. And this is the problem. We take part in horrific human behavior when we stop thinking independently and we join in with that mob mentality. And to me, that's true evil. That kind of shutting off your brain and going along with the group, even though you know it's something bad, that's evil. So perspective, I want to say that you know in your heart where this sunlight energy is, right? You know in your heart where your happiness is. And I would say that for you personally on your journey, you should follow that high vibrational light. Okay, don't worry about what other people say, basically. My burning sun was Sunday rise. Yeah, I Can't Leave Him Alone by Kiara, and yeah, Just the Same by Charlotte Lawrence. So it is a little bit of a, there is a little bit of a rebellious, we're the bad guys energy to this relationship, a little bit Bonnie and Clyde. But again, it feels kind of fated to a certain extent. It feels very powerful for you. And again, this idea of like, this is what's making me happy. You've got Cheap Thrills by Sia. I don't need dollar bills to have fun tonight. Worth more than diamonds, more than gold. So this relationship is worth more than money, which is what I was kind of saying already. Adore You, acoustic by Maisie Peters. You're always on my team, even when nobody else would be. So again, you've got this feeling of being rejected. So you've been rejected. Perhaps this also other person has this feeling of being rejected, but you've bonded together through these experiences, right? It's like, you know, like say, talking about sheep, like you were the black sheep, perhaps, of the family, and so was this person. So you've bonded because of that. You've found companionship in, like, both being those kind of rebels, I guess. What else was I going to say? There's something as well in one of the other readings. You're always on my team, even when nobody else would be. Somebody had something about, you know, that moment in, what's it called? Show Me the Money, Jerry Maguire. The moment in Jerry Maguire where he walks out the office and she stands up and she's like, I'll go with you. It's that kind of thing. It's like those two rebels, right, going off in their own direction and you know, losing their jobs, you know, losing their income, losing their source of money. So it's like doing something that feels very Like, it's like your heart is compelling you to do that. Like, it's true to you, it's true to your soul, but it's going against the grain and it's going to face judgment. And you've also got major challenge to overcome. Now, this came through with the sentence. I heard, well, they got what they wanted. So it's like the other people, the naysayers, the people who didn't want you to do it, are sat there watching you and this other person. And again, it could be a small group. It doesn't have to be a specific person. It could be you and your own team of people. And like the other people are sat there. So it could be a work thing, right? And the other people are sat there saying, well, you know, look at all that work that they've got to do. Look at all those obstacles that they've got. Look at that mountain that they've got to climb now. Like, you know, they got what they wanted. You know, it's like they're enjoying it. But if you watch Gemini's reading, so if you're connected to a Gemini and you watch Gemini's reading, like, poof, it was going, like the obstacle was being removed. Like, it was like, poof, magic trick, and the obstacle's gone, right? You and that person coming together. So I think you're going to be absolutely fine. I don't think you've got anything to worry about, as long as you stay high vibrational, as long as you choose that light, right? And follow it. I'm sorry about my scruffy nails as well today. Trying, there's something about somebody trying. So I don't know if you're leaving a relationship or somebody has been battling some kind of addiction, but you've got two songs about trying. One was Trying by Maisie Peters, which is saying that trying is not really good enough. Like, trying is the minimum that you do in a relationship. But then you also have Trying, This Is Me Trying by Taylor Swift. So again, it's like somebody coming to somebody and saying, look, I'm trying. And it's like, well, you've been trying for 10 years, like, where, you know, I need more than trying at this point. So it felt like that was a side message, but take it or don't take it. Also, someone could have refused a drink. So you know that scene in well, it's two films. So there's The Shining and there's Doctor Sleep, right? So Doctor Sleep kind of echoes some of the scenes, and one of the scenes is that bar scene where, you know, Jack is he's being poured whiskey, right? And he's an alcoholic, and the hotel has convinced him to cave into that addiction, where Ewan McGregor's character in Doctor Sleep, I'm sorry if spoilers if you haven't seen it, he's stronger, right? He's got more good in him. He hasn't caved to the hotel completely, so he manages to refuse the drink. So I do feel like somebody could be perhaps trying to, it's got this energy of like somebody who's at a party and they're you know, everybody's having fun and enjoying themselves and getting drunk, but it's like they've got this other person on their mind, you know, this voice in their head that's saying, you're better than this, or, you know, it's like they can't, you know, that song, I Can't Let Go and I Can't Relax, that Lullaby by Sean Mullins. It's like it's like somebody perhaps who's had a party lifestyle in the past, right? Somebody perhaps who's had substance abuse issues in the past, being at a party but being more mature and being like, now I don't know if it's like alcoholic and not having a drink, or I don't know if it's like recognizing that this person has like a tendency to overdrink and get into trouble. So this, maybe they've had a couple of drinks, but they know, right, they know not to have that third one. It's like there's a drink that's been refused for somebody. All right, I hope that's helpful. Let's keep going and see what else you get. So I don't really know where this reading is going to go, by the way. I'm in a bit free flow at the moment with the readings. Oh, I had some other songs as well. I had this message about like magic eye paintings. So paintings in general, and it's like, look through. It's reminding me a little bit of, have you seen the movie Witches, where they put people into the paintings and she can see the little girl moving around in the painting? Now, I don't think it's anything that's scary, but it's coming through this message of like, if you've got some kind of painting with a lot of detail, or say you're out somewhere, say you're at a restaurant and there's a painting, it's like, look more closely at the painting, but don't just look at what's on the canvas, look through the canvas. It's like there's more behind. Maybe somebody has to actually look behind a painting, right? There could be like an envelope in the back of a canvas or something. It's like but it was like whatever, and it could be metaphorical as well, so I'll explain that in a minute. But it's like, do you know magic eye paintings? In like, they were about in the 90s, and it came through, it was my uncle that brought this message in. My uncle has this kind of like Starman, Doctor Who, Star Whale energy to him, but he kind of like was stood next to me, and I was looking out of this glass at the universe, right, at all the stars, and he was saying to me, don't look at the stars, look through, look beyond, right? Look beyond the horizon. So it was reminding me, because he gave me this book with magic eye paintings, it was reminding me of that. It's like, don't just look at the surface image of things. Don't just look at what's presented to you. Look behind it. Now, rewinding actually to what I was saying about kind of, you know, the person giving you advice. They're giving you advice based on their own perspective and their own ideas, right? But so if you took their advice at face value, it's out of context. It's like what they teach you when you go to university, right? If you're doing any kind of like humanities or arts degree, it's like, well, why, you know, say you're at uni, right, and you're reading, I don't know, what have I got here? Sorry, all my books are a little bit dusty. So, you know, what's his name? Joe off you would really not be happy with the way I treat my books. I just leave them lying around and they get kind of very, very dirty very quickly and dusty. But they're much loved, right? Just because they're dusty doesn't mean they're not loved. I just love in a different way. Yeah, so... And like, look at the painting as well on this, right? So it's like, there's a lot of detail on this painting, right? There's a lot of things going on. So yes, look at all the detail of the situation, but then look through it, look beyond it. And kind of like, with magic eye paintings, you had to kind of look at a point beyond the painting and then kind of like let your gaze soften. And then all of a sudden you'd see like these 3D images pop out. So it's like that, right? So Virgil wrote the Aeneid, right? I probably pronounced that wrong, I'm sorry. But so you could open the book and you could read something like, in the beginning spirit fed all things from within, the sky, the earth, the level waters, the shining globe of the moon, and the titan star, the sun, right? You could open the page, that is book 6, just after 720 if you wanted to look that up yourself. But you could open a book and read something like that and you could take it as face value, you know, well, Virgil said this, so it must be true. But Virgil was writing in his own time under certain conditions, right? So he was actually writing under the Emperor Augustus. I know a huge amount about the Augustan period. It's my favorite, one of my favorite periods of history, where a lot of art and culture and writing and mythology, and it's just an incredibly interesting kind of pinprick of time where culture really blossomed after a period of kind of civil war, basically. But you know, it tells you about him, it tells you about his past, right? It's important to know in the introduction all about the setting, you know, the setting of the book. You know, why was Virgil writing this? He was writing this under the regime of the Emperor Augustus to prop up that regime and to kind of big him up. So it's important to know that context when you're, and not take things at face value, right? So look at your own situation. Look at the advice that people are trying to give you. Look at what people are saying to you. And don't just say, this person told me this. Why did that person tell you that? What is it about them and their personality that is making them say these things, right? There's more to the story than meets the eye. Okay, so what do we have, please, for Leos? More to the story than meets the eye, right? It's like psychic ability, trust your intuition. Oh my God, thank you, Spirit. I love when things confirm like that. What was I just talking about? So again, it's like, look beyond the surface of things, right? It's like, you may be particular, maybe you've got your Leo, right? So your fire sign, but maybe you've got a lot of water in your chart. Look at your moon placement, look at your Mercury placement, your Venus placement, and your Jupiter placement. You may be very psychically aware, and what the water signs tend to do is they tend to be very, very good at reading the underlying what's going on underlying social situations, right? They're very good at reading the mood of the room. So I go in and I barge into work and like there's a mood and I'm like, I just carry on acting the way I'm acting. I'm like, whatever, I don't know what they're doing, right? But like a water sign might be able to go in, work into that, you know, that environment. Say like something's a bit off, right? Somebody's had an argument, or, you know, there's like underlying tension, and they'll be able to read it, right? They'll be able to read the facial expressions. They'll be able to read or maybe even not, right? Maybe even not. But it's like the surface words that people are saying. It's like you're sensing the energy underneath. You know, there's more going on than meets the eye. Like, trust it. So I feel like you've got a strong water placement. Definitely check that out. Desk, pay attention to your work. So this could be a work thing for you. You know, it's coming up with relationship. It could be, you know, take it as it resonates. Different Leos coming in with different situations, right? But it's like the underlying energy is probably coming out in different ways in your day-to-day life. Older woman, dealings or relationship with an older woman. Okay, I wasn't going to say this because one of my friends who is probably watching this video, and I'll probably have to give them a heads up. I didn't want to say anything that would sound like I was taking advantage, but the energy that was coming through very, very passionately, it's like they really, really wanted to say this. It's like really important for this person to communicate this. Felt like the energy of an older woman. So it was like really important. Don't take things at face value and don't place all your trust in anyone else. Think for yourself, right? Question the why was the really, really important message from this older woman. So even me doing this reading now, question why am I saying this? Do not take anything I say at face value, right? And I would say that everybody needs to learn how to do that. That's something that should be taught more in schools. Rather than just like regurgitating facts, people should be taught like independent thought. And they're meant to, but I don't know. So much that a teacher has to teach. Boots, increase your efforts if you want to achieve your goals. So you have got a mountain to climb. You can climb it, but it's going to be hard work. But you're going to do it. Maybe somebody has cowboy boots. That could be symbolic for somebody. There's a snake in my boot is popping up. Tortoise, November. So something could happen in November for you. You could have something booked for November. Pay attention in November. Maybe mark it in your calendar because this may be stuff that isn't happening for you yet, but it's going to manifest in November, and you're going to be like, oh, I remember that tarot card reading. She said, look beyond the surface of things. So pay attention in November. Also, somebody could have a November birthday. So this would be Scorpio, Sagittarius, I think. Something could have happened last November as well, but November could be an important month for you somehow. It may be that you have to work very hard in November. Maybe you're prepping for Christmas. Tortoise has landed over here on the eye. Now, this is Virgo energy for me as a reader, but it doesn't have to be. Slowly but surely getting ahead. So the tortoise wins the race. So again, pay attention to your intuition. It may be that there's something going on. Again, I'm intuitively getting this. So it could be something going on perhaps at work, or a situation where you feel like you suddenly have to compete with everybody. It's like, yes, you have to increase your efforts, but if anyone's trying to rush you, so it's that feeling of like, you know, like your boss is rushing you to get something done, but it's like if you rush, you're going to make mistakes. So if there's something involved that's kind of like some sort of carrot on a stick or a prize, it's like whoever gets this done the fastest wins. It's like, trust yourself, right? If you feel like you want to go slowly and methodically through this, then do it that way. Funnily enough, I've just been, I've got an app that's like letting me practice theory tests, driving theory tests. And I tend to make mistakes when I rush through it. And again, it's not the real test, right? I'm just doing it to kind of like practice. So if I rush through it, I tend to make stupid mistakes because I've not read the question properly. But when it's like if you're doing a test, right? You're given an hour for a reason. I do it in 10 minutes, right? But if I was to do the test properly and I was paying that money to go and do that test, I would sit there and I would use that time effectively. So I would go through the question carefully. I would double check my answers. I'd finish the test. I'd go back through it. I would use that whole, if you're given it an hour, use the hour, right? Trust your instincts on that one. Tortoises may be particularly symbolic. Maybe this old woman had a tortoise. I remember my Nana actually, she didn't have a tortoise, but one of her neighbours did. So she'd always take me to the garden to try and like look and see this tortoise. What else is going on, please, for Leos? Tell me more for Leo. What does Leo need to know? Anything from this deck? Gift in reverse. So a gift in reverse, there could be something, you could not be using your gift. You could have a psychic gift, could have very good intuition, and you're not using it, perhaps in times of despair. So when you are in that energy, right, when something's gone wrong, when you're feeling a bit hopeless, it could be that you forget that you've got this gift, right, this psychic gift. So it's like, what do you need to do to reconnect to that and to trust it? So anytime, what can you do as well to practice? So practice. It's funny because this is when it triggers for me the most. When I get very desperate, you know, when things have gone wrong, when I've had a bad day, or, you know, I really feel like the universe is against me, or I've had an argument with somebody, and I get into those feelings of like being really, really like, I can't handle this, you know, a very, very upset energy. it's like I cry, and after about 5 or 10 minutes, it's like my spiritual connection goes whoop. It's like I remember I've got it. It's almost like hitting rock bottom and being like, oh my goodness, I remember I've got these guides, right? I remember I can call on my angels to help. And they do, and they do. And it happens in such interesting ways. So don't forget you've got a gift. You could also have a gift that's been delayed. It's funny, I'm waiting for something actually at the moment. And I'm like, and it's funny as well because I'm waiting for a gift where it's like, how do I put this? It's important to say thank you for it, right? There's, it's not just that I'm receiving a gift. There's an expectation of me to it's not like do a thank you card, but it's similar to doing a thank you card, right? There's an expectation on me to attach to this gift. And it's like, I have this sense, or there's an expectation now that I should be doing the thank you and I can't because I haven't received the gift yet. So there's this thing again about like timing and expectation. Again, there could be a pressure on you to do something within a certain time, but perhaps there's something that's coming your way that you have to receive first. So strange message, but take that if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. I'm just gonna pop that up there like that. What else for Leo, please? And look behind the gift, you know, like, you know what's that phrase? Don't look a gift bearer in the mouth. Look the gift bearer in the mouth. Like, why are you receiving this gift? Why is somebody giving you this gift? Is there more to this? Like, what's going on? Like, what's the decision behind this? Is someone trying to bribe you? Is someone trying to keep on your good side? Is someone trying to placate you in some sort of way? I'm a little bit like this. I'm a little bit, again, my Catherine, I don't know why I said Catherine. My Capricorn South Node kind of acting up a little bit. It's like no one gives you anything for free. It's like my Capricorn placements. That's really weird. Capricorn. Is there a Capricorn called Catherine? My Capricorn placements are like nobody gives you anything for free, right? Like, and it's so funny as well. Like somebody. Again, shout out, hi if you're watching. Somebody was offering to pay me to do a reading, and I was like, I don't charge to do the readings. That's not the energy that I want around it. Like if I had passive income from doing readings through like you know, through ads and things like that, then that'd be fine. But especially for like friends and family, I do free readings for friends and family because I'm doing a service, but I'm not doing a service to the, I mean, I suppose I am in a way. I don't feel like I'm doing a service to the viewer. I feel like I'm doing a service to my guides. Like my guides want me to do these and put these messages out. I'm serving my guides, right? So it's like the universe pays me. So don't worry, guys. Like, don't worry about that. I don't know where I'm going with that. Okay, put that away. Confused thinking, confused muddled thinking. There's that polar bear that came out in Cancer's reading. Could be a Pisces involved. The polar bear perseveres. The polar bear is the wounded warrior, but they're built for it, right? So they're going through something. There's some trials. Life hasn't been kind to them. Life has actually been quite difficult to them, but they persevere through it because they're built for it, right? They're the person who's capable of doing it. So, and that's not to victim blame or say that, you know, this person doesn't deserve better. You know, the polar bears don't deserve for their ice caps to be melting. That's not fair on the polar bears, but they are, you know, their ability to survive those cold environments is I don't know where I'm going with that either. I'm sorry. So, the maze, so confusion, facing something where you know where you want to go but you don't quite know how to get there, and you may also have this perspective of like watching other people going around in circles trying to get to where you are. So yeah, so there could be some confusion perhaps about how you got to where you got to. Other people are like, we can't follow that path, we can't find that route, so how did Leo get there? Okay, let's move all these aside. Okay, tell me about Leo's energy. You are oh yeah, yeah, not trusting that guy. Whoever this is, not trusting their advice. They're giving very bad advice. Some of you are cross-watching for a Leo who's giving bad advice. But for most of you, it's that person, right? It's that, you know, like I was saying about that person she's evil, she's honorary and evil, she's a witch, burn the witch, right? Like old-fashioned, like somebody who fell out of the like 1600s or something and didn't modernize, right? Didn't keep with the times, guys. You know, somebody who's like so, and this isn't everybody, right? The high priest, sorry, they can be in the upright and they can be in the reverse, right? This is high vibrational energy, this is low vibrational energy. So you can look at anything, any situation, any workplace, any family, any culture, any religion, anything that's a group, right? Anything where humans are, and you're going to find good people and you're going to find bad people in any group. So this is talking about, I see personally a huge benefit to religion. I see all the positives about religion. You get some priests who are such key members of their community, and they provide so much comfort and so much positive guidance and so much support, and they welcome people with open arms, right? They're a proper shepherd to their flock. You know, they're they're a source of wisdom and inspiration, and you know, they have so much love and compassion, and really all they want is for the best for their community, and they want people to live happy lives. You know, those kind of priests are absolute treasures. But you do get people, sadly, who get into this, you know, these positions, and it doesn't have to be literally a priest. It can indicate somebody to do with higher education. It can indicate a grandfather. It can indicate anything that's kind of like, tends to be patriarchal. It doesn't have to be a man, but it tends to be patriarchal somehow, and it's authority and kind of like structure and tradition, right? But sadly, you do get people who get into these positions or these groups, and you know, they abuse it. They do it for the money, they do it for the power, because they're power hungry, because they like to control people. Very Scorpio energy in the reverse. This is Taurus card, but that kind of wanting to control people is negative Scorpio energy. You know, they may do it because I don't know, they didn't have anywhere else to go, and this is what they fell into, and the heart's not in it. You know, you do sadly get people who abuse their power. You know, you get politicians who use you know, people's beliefs to manipulate them into voting for them, and that is horrific. They are definitely going to hell, right? If there is a hell, they're the ones that are going. You know, these people who like purport to be mouthpieces for the religion, or mouthpieces for the people, but at the same time what they're doing is using it for monetary gain or the gain of power. Like it's very, very devil energy, right? So just because it has, you know, like wolf in sheep's clothing, right? Just because it looks like, just because the Bible, you know, say you have a book, right, and it's got like the cover of the Bible, just because it looks like the Bible doesn't mean it is the Bible. Just because it is the word of God doesn't mean it is the word of God, right? So this thing about looking past the surface image and questioning behind, what are the motives of this, right? Some of you are absolutely turning your back on like I picked it up on right at the beginning of the reading. Some of you have turned your back on something because you're finding it to be false. I'm getting a lot of stuff about false prophets and snake oil, right? This is not God. This is a representative of God. This is not. This is a false prophet, right? The high priest is a really, in the reverse, very dangerous card. Because they're not powered by God, they're powered by the devil, right? They're upside down. So again, I'm using different language to explain it to different people. If you're not into like God and the devil, if you don't believe that to be a real thing, that's fine, leave it to one side. I'm using language to explain the energy in different ways so that different people can understand it. And the devil, of course, is also a metaphor for corruption and you know, the worst parts of human nature, the beast within us all. Five of Cups is an energy of crying over spilt milk. being really disappointed, emotionally disappointed about something, you know, relationships that didn't work out, you know, friendships that went sour. But the good thing about it is that there's 2 cups still standing, and this is showing this relationship, right? This kind of relationship. It could be somebody that you've known since you were a kid as well. It's like you used to go out on adventures with them, right? And now you've grown up together and you have this like really supportive bond. It could be a sibling, someone who is this source of strength and light for you, real strength and light. And the way that you can tell, is this God or is this a false prophet? How does it make you feel? How does it make you feel about yourself, right? Do you leave that situation or that person feeling like a lightness of the heart, like, you know, your burdens have been lifted and like you're closer to God? Or do you feel like it's weighed you down and it's judged you and you feel like a terrible person? Because that is not God, right? And I know there's people are going to have thoughts around that, and I understand those thoughts. For me as a reader, this because the Sun card is confidence and liberation and happiness and very, very good intentions. It's the brightest, most high vibrational card you can have in the whole of the tarot. To me, that is God. That is source. So anything that's not that is, you know, anything that's not in alignment with that is this. So, God, these readings. God. I hate when I start talking about religion. It's like, I'm going to trigger people. I'm triggering myself. Right, so the lovely thing about this card is she is actually looking at the 2 cups still standing. So she's getting over those spilt cups, those relationships that are soured. She's in the process of turning her back on those and looking to those positive relationships that are supportive, that are loving, that are kind, that are helpful, that make you feel like you can do anything, right? Those kind of relationships that are, yes, they're going to tell you when you're acting like a dick, right? They're going to be like, listen, book up your ideas. It doesn't mean that they're going to be kissing your ass, but it means they're going to say, I can see you're going through a tough time of it. I can see that you're not acting, you know, I can see that you're making bad choices right now. I can see that this doesn't help you. It doesn't make you happy. Let me help you. Let me help you help yourself, right? Let me help you do the things that make you feel good about yourself, rather than being like, I don't think you should do that, that's bad for you, I condemn you. You know, right? There's different kinds of relationships, there's different ways of showing support. It doesn't mean that you don't tell someone when they're wrong. It means that you help them make the choices that are best for them, that make them happy, that, you know, put a smile on their face, not your face. Right, the heart of the matter. Somebody feels trapped. Somebody feels really, really trapped. They're really stuck in their own head. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to turn. They don't know how to move, right? It's like it's like thinking yourself in circles. It's like analysis paralysis. Really, really feeling very, very trapped here. What led them to this? Their own fears. Fears and illusions. Deception. It could be that somebody has been deceiving you. It could be that you've been deceiving yourself. Your own thoughts, perhaps not trusting your own thoughts, not trusting your own intuition. The moon is a very, very highly intuitive card. Your own intuition has even potentially got you trapped in some sort of way. But if divinity has led you there, there's lessons to be learned in it. There's a purpose to this. Where is this currently heading? Moving on. Taking your thoughts, getting in that boat and sailing to calmer waters. You're moving on from something. You're mentally moving on from something. Now, it may be that you're physically trapped, but mentally, you're gathering up your thoughts. You're gathering up you're getting clarity, and the interesting thing about this Six of Swords, Chiron's been coming up quite a lot. The guy who rows the boat over the River Styx. He's been popping up here and there in readings. I've been hearing his name. I've been hearing other readers talk about him. It's making me think of a vision that I had, which I'll go into in a second. But the symbolism, the art that's normally on the Six of Swords is usually a woman, sometimes with a child, kind of looking like that kind of like Five of Cups energy, and she has a third person who's rowing her out. I'm going to pause. I'm going to find you the artwork so you can see the visual difference. Hold on. I tell you what, my guides are they've got a very tongue-in-cheek sense of humour. So you know how I was saying, as I was just finding the card there, I was thinking about how I was saying, I don't do these readings for money. I do it because I feel like I'm compelled by spirit to do it. And then I was thinking, like, the power of Christ compelled you. The power of Christ compels me to do these readings, guys. I don't know what to say to you. Right. The Six of Swords. God, my guides are going to get me in trouble. So yeah, the imagery, normally the Five of Pentacles, actually, not the Five of Cups, show a woman and a child who have been cast out of church. They're in a position where they are in need of charity. And then the Six of Swords shows this same woman and child being rowed to a better place. This person is acting like a caretaker, a guide, you know, he's got these people who are in the pit of despair, right? They've got nowhere else to turn, right? They're leaving a situation that was where they were rejected, you know, something went horribly wrong for them. And those choppy waters, that stormy past, this person is helping them because they can't see where to turn themselves. Like, the swords in this reading are blocking their view. So swords represent thoughts. So they don't know where to go. They can't see the path ahead. So this person is helping them to go to a better place, to calmer waters. Now, the difference with the symbolism on this card, which is the deck I was kind of pushed to use for you today, she's actually rowing herself over that boat, and her thoughts are not obscuring her view. Yes, the moon is behind her. She doesn't know where she's going. She's got some confusion. She's got some illusions, but she is the one making this decision to get in this boat and take herself to this better place. So again, I'm saying she, take gender out of it. I see this, Leo, as you taking responsibility, not feeling like you have to have, not feeling like you've got no autonomy, not feeling like you have no power or no voice or no authority in your own life, but taking the reins of your own life, or the pole of your own life in this case, and steering your own ship, right? Yes, you might not know where you're going, but you know that you're going somewhere else, right? Because that other place wasn't good. So the frog always talks about taking a leap of faith, like the Fool, but also, to me, kind of like, why does it always rain on me? So someone could really be kind of in a place mentally where it's like seeing themselves as a victim. You know, why does it always rain on me? Why do bad things happen to me? Where it's like, I'm hearing boot up their ass, where somebody could just need a bit of a boot up their own ass, right? A little bit of a kick your own ass, stop moping around. Leos, you do have a tendency to mope, so take it as it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. I'm not trying to give you tough love here, but sometimes we do, like, and I think most of us realise this. Most of us realise, do you know what? I have been a bit down in the dumps. I have been a little bit hard on myself. I have been a little bit blaming everyone else for my troubles, where, do you know what? I do have autonomy. I do have power and influence in my own life. I can, you know, get up and try something. And yeah, it might not work out. I might end up back at square one, but at least I can say I tried, right? At least I can give it a shot. It has that kind of energy to it. So again, take it if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. It could be somebody around you as well, and it's like you can see that they just need a little bit of motivation, right, to take accountability for their own life. Four of Cups. Somebody's it does have that feeling of like, but I've tried and I'm still in the same place. I know, I get it. I've been feeling like that, especially over the past few years. It's like a few years ago, I had all this motivation and I was like, I've got all these ideas, I've got all this stuff I want to try, I've got all these things I want to do. And then like COVID happened and nothing, you know, nothing came of any of it. And then I'm back now feeling really disheartened because I'm like, I didn't get anywhere, but I did, right? I had soul growth. I learned new skills. If I look behind it, I'm a different person to the person I was 3 years ago. So, and then I can roll that time back even further to like when I was doing teacher training. I spent a few years working in schools and, you know, gaining a qualification to get into teacher training. And for a variety of different reasons, I felt like it wasn't right for me. I did actually get on the course, but I declined the acceptance because I recognised that as much as I loved part of it, there was also parts of it that didn't feel like they aligned with me, and it didn't feel like the path was right for me. And so, you know, it wasn't wasted time though. It wasn't wasted time because I learned so much and I gained so much experience that was really valuable to creating who I am today. So again, sometimes the universe leads us around in circles, but we're meant to learn stuff on those paths. So it's like, well, I tried this and I tried this and I tried this and I'm sick of trying it now. But it's like the universe is bringing you this fourth cup. It's like, this is the one for you, right? This is the one that you've earned. But you're saying, I don't want to try again because these ones all failed. So why would I go for that? It's like, because this is the one that the universe is bringing you, right? This is the hand of God on here, bringing you the Ace of Cups. So it's like, get up. Stop sulking, try again, or you're going to miss this opportunity. But actually, the obstacle itself is recognizing where you're missing opportunities. The obstacle is motivating yourself to take these opportunities when you've got so much disappointment from the past, right? So many times when it didn't work out. But again, I feel like trust the universe. The universe does know what it's doing. And if you look back on your experiences, you know, especially experiences that were challenging or troubling, yeah, like we all wish we didn't have those experiences. I wish you didn't have those experiences because those experiences sucked. But who are you now in comparison to who you were before? Yes, you may be more cynical, but perhaps you learned to stand up for yourself. Perhaps you learned to, you know, voice what you need, which perhaps you didn't have those skills or realize how important it was to use them before that whole mess started. So, I didn't ask a question, but you've got the Wheel of Fortune. There is an opportunity. Yes, things are coming back around again. Yes, you feel like you're repeating the same process that you've already repeated, but the Wheel of Fortune in the upright says this time it's going to be different. This is a new cycle where perhaps you didn't find the sun before, perhaps you didn't find that happiness before, but there's a sense of not feeling free. What is the strength? Tell me about Leo's strength right now. Yeah, the pain is your strength. You've learned from it. You've learned from it. That is, I know some people have a lot of problems with, you know, there's somebody who follows like a psychologist, a therapist on Twitter, who they don't like language like that. You know, your pain is your strength. But I'm reading the cards for what they're saying, and this has come out in your strength position. Your heartache, your pain, your sense of loss is your strength. Let's clarify it. Why is the Three of Swords? Because again, I'm just being careful. Why is the Three of Swords Leo's strength? It makes you take action. Exactly. Yeah. Magician, you've got this. So because when things hurt you, it motivates you. When things, of course, you go through that period where you're demotivated. I do too. Again, sometimes things happen and all I can do is lie on the floor and cry. Right? Sometimes I get like, I just feel so distraught about things. You know, some things are very, very painful emotionally. But with the swords are representing thoughts, right? It's like, feel it, go into that pain, go into that loss, go into that grief, go into that disappointment, feel your way through it. Don't let it override you, right? Don't let it overcome you. But it's there, right? It's showing that you're working as a human. Humans are meant to feel bad, right? That's one of the many things that we feel. Like, that is showing that you're functioning as a human being and not a robot. What I find when I get to those, like, again, those kind of rock bottom moments is I kick my own ass. There's different types of people. Some people display grief and pain publicly, and they seek help, they seek their friends, they seek the people who are going to pick them back up. And that's fine. We're all different, right? I'm the type of person, and I don't know who you are here, but I see here with this Six of Swords, you're learning to pick yourself up and kick your own ass, right? No, you don't need anyone else. You're recognizing you don't need other people to do this. You know, you are your own great motivator. So I'm the sort of person, when I'm sad, I want hermit time, right? I want that Virgo peace. I'm like, everybody leave me alone. I don't need anyone to fix me. I just need to process whatever it is that I'm feeling. And I'll have a big cry and I'll cry myself out, right? And then I'll be like, then my thoughts start to kick in. Then my thoughts start to, you know, the emotions go down, my thoughts come up, and I get frustrated with myself, and I get angry with myself, and I get angry with the situation. Something that I tend to do, I hate cleaning. I hate tidying. I think it's boring. I can't, like, it's hard for me to motivate myself to, like, you know, do those kind of things. I do them because I have to do them, but, you know, some people find pleasure in cleaning, and I really don't. I like it when it's done. I like it when I've got a clean house, but the actual process of doing it, I hate it. When I'm angry, when I'm upset, when I get into that energy, and I pick myself up and I kick my own ass, like, that anger motivates me to clean. And it's like, I'll angry clean. So it's like, but it's prompting you to take action, and that's why it's your strength, right? It's a part of you. It's part of who you are to feel those things and to get angry, right? And to take action, and it's your strength. So it's, again, nothing's good or bad, but thinking makes it so. And you're going to take action on the things that are bad. What is hidden? What is in the blind spot, please? Yeah, that you are capable of independent happiness. The Nine of Cups is kind of like wish fulfillment, or a sense of feeling like, I'm hearing everything is coming up roses, and now I'm hearing everything is coming up Millhouse. So take that as it resonates. But it's like, I can find happiness within. I can pick myself up. I know what I need. I know what my emotional needs are, and I know how to tend to them without leaning on everybody else, right? Without picking up the phone and whinging to friends when, you know, things are going badly. And that's not saying that right, again, that's not saying that these kind of relationships are so important, but they have to be equal. So I always say this to my Virgo friends. Virgos have a tendency of picking up the waifs and strays because they're very empathetic and they like to take care of people. So Virgos tend to have a little gaggle of friends who are struggling, right? People who need those Virgo caretakers to look after them. Maybe you're on the cusp, right? Leo Virgo cusp. Maybe you've got this tendency as well to kind of like be that nurturer, to be that caretaker for your little gaggle of like misfit friends, right? It's making me think of that other Pulp song, misshapes, mistakes, misfits, raised on a diet of broken biscuits, we don't do the things you do, right? It's like getting the people who are like you, getting your band of misfits together, getting your Robin Hoods together, right? Robin Hood and your merry men. And it's like finding those relationships where it's mutually supportive, right? Yes, some people, Virgos, can give so much more than others. Some people, Cancers, you know, Leo, you could be maybe on the cusp of Cancer or Virgo. So you're going to have, if you're closer to Cancer, you're going to be one of the needier Leos. You're going to be one of the Leos who need those relationships and to support you. You know, they are your... There's nothing bad about that, right? It's like they are there to support you. These friends, they recognize that you need that nurturing. They recognize that, you know, sometimes you need somebody to come in and give you a head massage, right? It's like there's nothing bad about that. Those relationships are supportive. They are good. They are positive. But you don't want to lean on them so heavily that those people exhaust themselves. And that's what happens, again, if you're Leo on the side of Virgo. Virgos give so much that they exhaust themselves and don't accept help. So again, where are you on that scale? God, these readings are so long. But the thing is, we all... I don't know why, like, this Virgo Cancer thing's coming through. So if you have like a Virgo and Cancer energy together, and again, remember, everybody's like a full chart, so there's going to be differences within individual personalities, but Cancer energy by itself and Virgo energy by itself, Cancer being dependent, codependent, Pisces as well, codependent, and Virgo having this tendency to be nurturing, to be a caregiver, to want to look after people. The Virgo is going to look after the Cancer. Again, it doesn't have to be specifically those signs, right? But it's a tendency of those energies. So the the journey that we have is for the people who are like those Virgos, the people who are the caretakers, to learn how to accept help, to learn how to let people look after them. I'm the same. My North Node is Cancer. I've got Capricorn South Node, Cancer North Node. Capricorn is very independent, very much like, I'll sort it out by myself. I'll take care of this. I don't need anyone to look after me, right? Cancer's, okay, I'll open up, I'll be vulnerable, I'll let people look after me. So my North Node says that I need to be more vulnerable. I need to let all those Virgos who are always trying to look after me and accept it. And it's hard for me to accept it with the Capricorn South Node and Lilith. But I'm learning to. And so the Nine of Cups is saying, again, it could be you, it could be somebody. Again, it depends on what kind of Leo you are, like where you lean. But are you the dependent kind of Leo? Are you the caretaker kind of Leo? Are you playing both roles, right? Does it switch? Be careful in those kind of relationships that you're not creating codependency, where the people who need that support are not capable of picking themselves up and making themselves happy. Everybody's capable of kicking their own ass and picking themselves up and making themselves happy. It's just finding the motivation to do that and the skills to do that. But if this is you, Virgo, sorry, I don't know why I called you Virgo. Maybe again somebody's on the cusp. If this is you, Leo, you're about to figure out how to do this. You're about to figure out you can make yourself happy without those codependent relationships, right? Or you're teaching somebody to be able to do this. And again, it's not that there's anything wrong with these relationships. It's just sometimes there can be an imbalance where some people become dependent emotionally on that relationship in a way where they don't have any independence, they don't have any authority outside of that relationship. It's like the whole life depends on that support system. So it's reminding me of like a little bit of like school. So, you know, the kind of kids in school who have a best friend, right? It's like some kids have a large friendship group. My daughter's like this. She has a very large friendship group. And then I was the kind of kid who, I had a best friend. I had one friend and I clung to them like a life jacket. And so if that friend wasn't in school that day, I was lost. I didn't know, you know, I didn't want to be there because my best friend wasn't there, and I felt like I was drowning in that school without a life jacket. It was like my support system was gone because I'd become so, she was a Virgo. Virgos, be careful you're not doing this. So because you become so dependent on that one person, it's like you can't cope without them. And she was brilliant. She was lovely, right? She was the best friend I could have ever asked for, but I was codependent with her. So it's like, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here, and I hope it makes sense to you. Again, I don't know who you are in this. Maybe this is just relationship dynamics that play out for you constantly, where you get yourself into one of these roles. So it's like, if you look at every single relationship you have, and yes, it's supportive, yes, it's good, but has it become imbalanced? Are you playing the role of the caretaker where this person's constantly drinking from your cup, or have you become the role of the dependent where you cling to this person like a support system where you feel completely dependent on them, completely trapped? What's your fear? You could fear some kind of social event or some kind of meetup with other people. The Four of Wands whoa, I've gone so dizzy. What was that? The Four of Wands tends to be, it's kind of like a party. You know, there's other people there celebrating some kind of milestone. So it can be like a wedding, it can be a birthday party. There could be some kind of invitation to have some kind of meet up with people. You could have a lot of fear around this. There could be fears around your own stability, your own foundations. I call it my cornerstone card. It's like tent pegs, right? So it's like making sure that you are creating those solid, firm foundations for your future stability. Let me just clarify the Four of Wands. Why is the Four of Wands in? I feel really dizzy. You could be worried about impulsive behavior or reckless behavior attached to this situation. So again, it could, if this was like a party, like a family gathering, right? Somebody's celebrating their 60th birthday. You know, everybody's going to be there. The whole family's going to be there. You might be a bit worried about, you know, people getting a bit reckless, people getting a little bit, I was talking about Cancer's reading was like people kicking off at a wake. You could be worried about those people who get a little bit of drinks in them and they become a little bit impulsive. You could be worried about your own impulsive behaviour at some kind of event. Could have a lot of fear surrounding that. Who or what is available to Leo to help them at this time? Again, celebration, an event, a get-together. This is like a group of friends getting together and celebrating something. It's my cheers card. Your friendship group, your support system, your network, the people around you who are like you, right? So siblings, sisters, friends, colleagues. I'd say it's less likely to be colleagues. That would be more likely to be the Pentacles. This is more of a card of celebration. And then Four of Pentacles is like a Scrooge card. So it could be saving money so you can go to an event, or saving your money by not overspending at this celebration. It's like, I've only got £50 to spend tonight, and when that £50 is gone, I'm going home, right? It's like I can't be buying everybody rounds of drinks. I can't be overspending in this situation. It's also a card about being guarded. It is Cancerian energy for me. It's also Taurus energy. It's a shield card. So it's like putting your shield up and protecting yourself in some sort of way. But it does have this feeling of like holding onto money or possessions in some sort of way, and not overspending on the fun things. There could be somebody who's like this for you, right? You know, the person who's refusing to buy everybody drinks at the party. It could be that that's the person that you need to talk to. You know, the person who's not buying rounds, and they're not splurging, and they're not overdoing it. It's like, it feels like the sensible person in the room at the party. That could be the person that you gravitate towards. Does have a party or a get-together feel. Oh, Two of Cups, nice. So yeah, there is a Two of Cups available for you here. There is somebody who's like you. There is somebody who's like-minded. And this is, Two of Cups is like equally supportive. I was kind of thinking about TwitchCon. Maybe somebody's going to TwitchCon. That's the American TwitchCon is coming up this weekend. What's the advice? What's the advice, please, for Leo? Oof. I feel sick. I feel sick. Some of you are going to overdo it at a party. Somebody's going to drink too much at a party. It feels like you're going to the same party as Cancer, where everything kicks off. And you're really confused about it. And it's like the Tower moment happens. Everybody's kicking off. You get the hell out of Dodge. You go back to bed and you're like, what just happened? This is the need to heal. The Nine of Swords. Oh, it's the Nine of Swords. Why did I read it as the Four of Swords? Four of Swords is minor illness. Nine of Swords is really bad mental health. It's like, you know, your fears getting the better of you. Over-analysis, analysis paralysis, mental torture. But it's like, it's a process, right? It's like when shit hits the fan. When shit hits the fan. When it all goes wrong. When chaos happens. When people kick off. And you get out of there, right? You go back to your bed. You go back to your room. You draw your curtains. You lock the door. Going back, like, you know, like I was saying, me when I'm in pain, when something happens and it hurts me, and it's like I just need my space. I just like go to my room and kind of like, everybody leave me alone for a bit. Like it's like, everybody leave me alone for a bit. I need to process this. And you're processing something because you're very, very confused. Confused about, it has that energy of like the morning after. You know, when you replay everything, it's kind of like, I think it's like a minor form of PTSD. I mean, I don't drink that much anymore, but I grew up in a pub, right? I grew up in a pub where people were always drunk and kicking off. It was the norm. You know, and then when I was kind of in my teenage years, I was one of the people drinking and kind of getting all caught up in the drama. I didn't particularly kick off with anyone, but I was always kind of involved in, you know, consoling a girl in the toilets because she'd had a fight with a boyfriend, or, you know, going outside to see who was fighting, or, you know, it's like I was always on the periphery of the drama. And you wake up the next day, and of course alcohol affects your memory, so you'd wake up and you'd be like, what on earth happened last night? Why have I got bruises on my knees, you know? And things that start to come back to you in flashes. And to me, it is like PTSD again, because I was a teenager in my formative years, were drunk with that kind of environment. So, you know, if I do go out and socialise now, it can be stressful for me. I enjoy it. Like, anyone enjoys a good knees up, right? I love, like, having a few drinks, getting tipsy, chatting with people, having a dance, but I have a lot of anxiety around it. And that's kind of what that feels like for me. So it's almost like your advice is, give yourself time to process this. I mean, it could be from years ago as well. Give yourself the quiet time to process the drama of the occasion. You know, all these different cups are kind of symbolizing the different people that you spoke to on that night. You know, the different opinions that people had, it's like, or it could be all the different drinks you had. If you've mixed your drinks, it's like, whoa, I really need to go and have that time. I really need to go and sleep that off, right? I need to let my body process all those different chemicals I put in my body. That's how it feels, though. It feels like, process it. Process all that, whether it's from years ago or it's from more recent. Give your mind space to go through it all. Feel it out. Where will this lead Leo? What's the outcome if Leo follows this advice? You're going to gain a new perspective. There's information happening here. This is somebody who's observing. So it may be a time to just stay a little bit quiet, let the information come to you. It's like, you know, the next day when people start to text you and they're like, oh my God, did you see what Mike did? Did you speak to Sarah that day? You know, it's that kind of like, gather the information. So it could even be like you texting people who are at the party. I don't know. It could be a party. It could be, again, it could be something from the past. It's like, you know, you texting someone, do you know what happened to Mike? I saw him at 8 o'clock. I was talking to him, but I didn't see him for the rest of the night. Do you know what he got up to? Oh yeah, I saw Mike leave with Diana. You know, it's like, and they're like, right, Mike left with Diana, right? Interesting. So it's like, it's almost like collecting the pieces of the puzzle to figure out what happened. Because again, you've got this kind of like mental confusion here. So I don't know, ask the questions, because it's an inquirer energy. It's like, you're gonna want to know more. You're gonna start to, it's like the Inquisitor. Oh no, the Inquisitors are coming. What's the Page of Swords? There's some kind of decision here that you're making. So if you felt confused, if you felt like you didn't know what direction you were going in, the outcome of this is that you will figure something out. You will recognize the need to gain more information or to ask more questions about something. But you have made your decision about, you've made a decision, and it's like you're waiting for the information to come in before you move on it, before you take action. So it's a good outcome, right? Your whole reading feels like an entire process, like something that you feel, again, like almost like restricted or trapped by. There's a lot of stuff going on in your head where you've kind of got to it's almost like that image now at the beginning of the reading is coming through like a puzzle, right? It's like you've got all the pieces of the puzzle, you've got the full picture, but it's all in different pieces. It's like each of these swords is a different piece of the puzzle. So it's like you have to sit down and get out of the confusion, you have to get out of the fear, you have to get out of the, because you've got a lot of cards about confusion. You've got to get out of the confusion. You've got to give yourself time and space to sit down with that image of what happened that night, I guess, or what happened in that period of your life, and take each puzzle piece and go through it in a really methodical fashion and put them into place until you can really see that big picture. And I feel like there's still going to be holes in the puzzle where you need to ask for those pieces, you know, and don't just ask one person, ask at least 3 people, right? Because each person may tell you a different story or have a different perspective. And so that's where you have to look through it, right? Why is that person telling me that? And why is that person telling me that? What's their motivation in them telling me that? Why is that their opinion, but they have a different opinion, right? It's like, and where's the truth in that? It's like the truth is in between the lines. And that's why you have to look beyond the surface image of whatever happened there. And use that to make your decision. Okay, interesting, really challenging, very, very challenging reading. It really feels like, because you've got a lot of stuff about the mind and confusion, it feels like it's been mentally exhausting for you. I'm not surprised that you've ended up in Nine of Swords energy. But again, the Nine of Swords energy is your advice. So it's like, if you find yourself in that, if you find yourself in those days where you're like, I kind of need to go hermit mode. I need to kind of withdraw from social situations and just do something that helps me process, like piece by piece, right? And you know, that's actually serving you. That's your advice, to do that. Don't ever feel like that's a bad thing. If you feel like you need to withdraw, spend some time by yourself, and, you know, if that's what your mind needs to do something analytical and piece by piece, it's like, don't ever feel guilty about that. Don't beat yourself up over it. That is literally the advice that the universe is giving you. You're doing the right thing to do that, right? Some people need to do that more than others. Some people are naturally sociable. Some people really enjoy having a lot of people around them. You know, we all have a need for social connections, but, you know, some of us are a little bit more traumatized. No, I'm making a mountain out of a molehill here, but there is some truth to it, where, you know, I'm over it. I'm over it. I did it when I was in my formative years, right? I've had those experiences. I don't feel the need necessarily to, yes, sometimes I want to go out and party. Sometimes I want to go out and dance. Sometimes I want to go out and socialize, but I have a limit, right? And that's my truth, right? And that's okay. That's who I am as a person. I don't feel guilty about it. I am going to get you a song to close out your reading. I'm tired. I need to go for a lie down myself now. I'm going to go for a long hot bath, I think. Advice song. What? So good. So good. I'm happy now, right? So good. It's reminding me of that JLo song as well. I'm so good over you. Right. So Good by Halsey. Looking right, looking like all the stars have faded. I remember the night. Telling you, it's something in the past that you need to go back over, or that you can't stop. I feel like you could have a little, I mean, I'm saying PTSD, I'm not in a position to diagnose that with anyone, but you know, if you feel like that's ringing a bell for you, if you feel like that's actually something that maybe you need to look into, you know, go speak to doctors, counselors, you know, there's support lines that you can ring up, like the Samaritans, you know, go and seek some professional support and advice on that. And that could be what that is. Page of Swords, that could be going out seeking professional support and advice, because you could have PTSD attached to a specific bad night, you know, when a lot of stuff kicked off that you know is still haunting you. But I'm going to say it anyway. Looking right, looking like all the stars have faded. I remember the night I was so frustrated. I touch your hand for the first time. I see it on your face, and then another lifetime's flashing by. I'm here standing in the same dress. Yeah, that feels like PTSD, doesn't it? You know, like experiencing something that's similar to the thing that was traumatic in the past, and it's like suddenly experiencing this flashback. Another lifetime's flashing by. I'm here, standing in the same dress. You're in your apartment. I'm already gone. When you left, I bet you held her body closer, and I was hoping you would tell her it was over. You're all I think about, and everywhere I look. I know it's bad, but we could be so good. A couple of years flashing by, and I'm doing okay in the back of my mind. All I hear is your name. I bet you're happy, and that's fine. That's really sweet. That, you know, that feeling of like being in love with somebody, or, you know, really having strong feelings for somebody, really caring about someone. I mean, I'm like this with my best friend at school. I don't talk to her anymore, but I still love her so much. And I occasionally see things on Facebook about her, and where she looks really happy, and she's got her whole new life, her whole new family, and she looks happy, and, you know, that warms my heart. Like, seeing the people that you love happy, even if it's not with you, is true love, I think. You know, the people who are spiteful, the people who are like, you know, who they want to sabotage that person's happiness because it's not with them, that's not love. And I'm getting really overwhelmed. Can you hear how I'm breathing? It's like, I don't know what that is. I don't know who I've connected with there, but that's like really shallow breath there. I bet you're happy and that's fine, but I regret just one thing. I never got to change your mind. I'm here, right? And then it repeats. I'm already gone, talking wildly, out of context, but I wish things were different. But I'll never know. Maria calls me and says she's getting married. She asks me if there's any extra weight I carry. And do I think about the one that got away? I know his name. I think about him every day. Oh, Leos. I'm coming in for a big hug, guys. Like, I'm going to hug you like this. And what I want you to do is do that thing, you know, that you do at school when you, like, go up against a wall and pretend someone's kissing you and you move your hands on your own back. Right, I'm going to hug you. Put your hands around your own back and give yourself a hug right now because, like, I feel that. I really feel that. And that's hard. It's hard to not be with somebody that you love, but to still wish them happiness. That's the sign of a truly good person. That's true unconditional love. And that's so sweet. And I can see how much suffering there is here for you in this. And that's really hard. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to go and cry. All right, I hope this reading was really, really helpful for you all. Do check out the description box down below where there'll be more songs for you. If this is your feeling, like, it's okay to process. It's okay to process that, right? It's okay to feel those things. It's human, it's beautiful, it's poetic, it's sad. I'm going to go. Take care. 125 minutes, an hour and 25 minutes. I'll see you again soon. Take care.